to you now because since I became aware of you, so much has even changed in your like creative life. It seems like.
Really? Tell me, what
I
did
think
you
so. Well, the first thing I
figure?
saw you doing was making kind of alt pop music. You know,
Yeah,
you made this record a few years ago. A couple of songs I really loved.
really. Which
Yeah,
ones?
the song about, and I told you this before, the song about a woman who lost.
Sylvia lost her sense of being a woman.
Oh,
Yes.
what a deep and powerful like message was in that song. I just loved it.
Thank you.
And the song about showgirls
Oh
also that you
yes.
made the video
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Um, and I just was like, what? Who is this?
Yes.
What is a Dida Pelled? Who, like,
Yeah.
and
How did
then
you find that music?
Lage Lund sent it to me.
Really?
Yes,
Wow. He's so sweet to me. I feel
yeah,
like he's like into my music or something.
totally, he
Yeah.
totally is. He
Amazing.
wrote to me, he
That's
said you should talk to her.
wow.
And so I saw it. Then I started following you, and then I discovered that you're a great guitar player. Like that, I thought you were like an indie pop
Yeah,
artist.
yeah. Because I didn't really like show off my guitar thing on that record.
No. And then I went to your website, and the first paragraph on your website says you're the best guitar
Yeah.
player.
This side of the Mississippi.
There's a part of me.
Yes.
You were playing in the country music. You were wearing a cowboy hat, and I thought
Yeah, yeah,
west of the
yeah.
Mississippi was like a way of
Yeah.
playing into those images.
Right.
I think you might be the best guitar player west of the Mississippi.
I mean, I don't really think that. It was totally a joke. I think a lot of people are the best. Like we're doing different things.
That's right. There's no best.
No. I think it's cool to see people do the best of their like really making their craft better and better and
Yeah. What I liked about it when I say that, I don't say that with a judgment. What I
yeah.
say is I think it's become very, we're so cautious about saying like this is great, you should
Yeah.
check me out, like I
I
think
mean, I
this is.
think bios are a funny thing and
Yeah,
everyone writes their own or like have someone write for them, but it's
yeah,
so it's kind of fun to really exaggerate.
yeah, and play with it
Yeah.
and say like I have a sense of humor
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. My new bio says like, Dida Pellet can steal your girlfriend in a New York minute or something like that. Whatever. It's like, yeah, you have to have fun with it. If not, it has no personality. Like, who needs to see another bio? Dida Pellet is a singer, songwriter, and jazz guitar player in Brooklyn. Like, everyone is that.
Yeah, that's interesting because on the one hand that doesn't give me very much information, but
Yeah.
what I am curious about
Yes.
is, if you go on Spotify or on YouTube or whatever, or even
Yeah.
on your website and look at the music that you share,
It's confusing.
you've got this record, the Tiger. What's the record called?
It's called Love of the Tiger.
Love of the Tiger.
Yes.
You've got Love of the Tiger. Then recently you've got a little EP thing that you put out doing Mose Allison tunes, and then you've got
Yeah. I mean, it's another singer. I
yeah,
played
you
on
play
it.
guitar,
Yeah.
but you're listed on it.
It's true.
And then you're a 21-year-old guitar player making a record with
Yeah.
Roy Hargrove,
Exactly.
with Hutch playing
Yeah,
drums.
I did 2 jazz records, like
Yeah.
that one with Roy and Hutch, and
Yeah.
then a few years after, 2016, I did one with Rodney Green and
Yeah.
Luke Carlos O'Reilly, great organ player.
So
I still, by the way, like it's not out yet, but I do all of it still. Like this summer, I recorded another jazz blues album. I told you that I'm really excited about, and I recorded another like singer songwriter, like more like Love of the Tiger and
Yeah.
Sylvia stuff.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like all the same thing. It's
it can all
music.
happen. Do you worry about confusing an audience by putting out different
I do,
things?
and I have more in the past.
Yeah.
I think I still am aware of the problem of it and the same, but I just like, wow, what else would I do? Like I
Yeah.
can't not do it all. It's all part of who I am, and I'll be a sad, not fulfilled person if I won't make all these things happen.
I think
I think it's less of a battle for me, like should I be more of this or just this? But just like a question of like what's the best way to go about having all these things?
What do you think is the best way?
I think it's different for everyone. Like for a while I thought maybe I should find a way to have it all in the same album.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's for me. Like I think I like to make everything the thing. Like so like that's why you ask about the Love of the Tiger. I'm not trying to play crazy solos or like even show my guitar Like, because I think that's not right for these songs.
Hmm.
And it's more like the songwriting and the sound and the production. That's more what gets me more excited when I make these albums.
Yeah.
But then the jazz, yeah, it's, I think, making the best of each thing as is. And then when you ask yourself, like, who are you as a whole? Let people deal. Like, I don't know, we're in 2025. I think people should be able to, like,
Keep up.
many people love that a person does a lot of things because it's not even just that. I have an electronic music I make that no one heard yet. And like I have a radio show and I have like, I don't know, a choir. I'm trying to have all these, I have all these different hats, but I think I'm just thinking what will make me like happy in life and what keeps me inspired and like excited.
I think
And
that,
people like that or they don't, and that's fine.
and that's fine too.
Yeah,
I think that the trick that I learned from you is that it's about you, and
exactly.
people can have a relationship with you, and if they follow you, they'll follow you in all of these different directions.
Exactly. I think that's where I'm at now. If one of these things get huge, it might push the other things a little bit
Yes.
to like a hobby. But till then, I'm doing it all.
And you're teaching?
I'm also teaching,
Yeah.
yes.
Because even online, I see you
I know.
teaching and
That's the
showing
only
things.
thing that sometimes I ask myself, like, should that not be so like visible?
No, but
But
I also,
honestly, I love doing it. I can't stop myself. I think it's silly sometimes and I should like do less of that and more like my art. But then I don't know, I practice and I discover something really cool and I can't not make a quick video about it and post it.
I mean, I saw
And I also people really like it. So I feel
they
like
love it.
yeah.
I saw the videos that Lage sent me, and then I followed you on Instagram. The first post I saw, you were saying, let me show you how to do your sloobies. And I was
Exactly.
like, I love this. I'm
Yeah.
following this. I want to learn these
Exactly.
things.
I think, each person should do whatever is
Yeah.
fun for them.
Yeah.
I think it's fun and I think people that like it probably think it's fun. People like the process or something. So yeah, that's the process.
They like to show your work. How did
Yeah.
you, who were you that at 21 years old, you showed up here playing the way you played? How did you discover this? How did you become a musician? How did you fall
Like
in
how
love with
did I
this?
get good?
How did you get
Wow.
started?
I started when I was like very young. I did
Yeah.
like that's when like the singer songwriter. I didn't start writing songs, but I
Yeah.
played like Nirvana and like songs
Yeah.
on guitar for like I don't know until I was 15.
Yeah.
So that was like my first love of music was like rock or
Yeah.
something. Or like also pop. Like I loved Spice Girls and
Yeah.
whatever was on at
Yeah.
the time. And then I went to a great music school, Thelma Yellin,
Uh-huh.
where a lot of people came
Yeah.
out of.
Who else came out of that school?
Gilad Exelman. I don't know who else you know, but like all the great
Yeah.
musicians from Tel Aviv were
Yeah.
around. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how they did it because I didn't care about jazz at all when I got into the school. I guess I had an instinct that I would like to go to an art school and not like go to a regular school.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked a little harder for the audition.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I didn't have any relationship with like jazz or
What did you play for the audition?
like I learned take five, but I didn't
Mhm.
even know what it means to play in five. I
Uh-huh.
just like memorized it. And a blues, I don't even know how much I knew what it is, but I learned a blues piece that my guitar teacher
Yeah.
showed me. It was like memorizing a
Yeah.
thing, but I enjoyed it. These two, I don't remember. Maybe there was a third.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I also played the little drums because at the time I was also playing drums.
Yeah.
Anyway, they liked me or something and they got me to the school. And 3 months in, they got us all obsessed with bebop as if they like gave us something. There was an amazing teacher called Amit Golan. He
Mhm.
passed away like around 10 years ago. It was very sad at school. He was such an amazing teacher. He got everyone so obsessed with jazz. Like I remember we used to like every time my dad went to the States, I would ask him to get me Pete Bernstein records and like me and I would give it to my teacher too. And I remember the first jazz history lesson, he was talking about like all these names and it sounded like Chinese to me. And after a few months, I just like was obsessed. I wanted Kenny Dorham sings records and like, you know.
And so your dad would come to the States often?
Yeah.
Did
He's
you?
like a journalist.
What
Yeah.
kind of journalist?
Like kind of tech world.
Tech.
My parents has a company with like tech. It used to be magazines, and now it's like events.
Uh-huh. And did you come to the States as a kid?
Yeah, many times.
You did. So even though it sounded like Chinese in the sense that who are these names,
Not America, but like
but
yeah,
those names,
jazz
was.
Yeah, like jazz from the 50s and 40s.
Yeah.
Like who knew what? Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was thinking about. Like, so from Israel, from the point of view of being so far away from the
Yeah.
American experience or
Yeah.
whatever, like, was it the same as if you were studying music that came from South America or came from India or something? Or did you have a sense of what that history
No.
was?
I don't know why, but something in me
Yeah.
has it the roots. I don't know. I love like American music.
Yeah.
I feel like it felt more like world music to study a specific.
Yeah.
Some people got into shoro and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was more of a niche.
Yeah.
Something about American music, even if it's pop and rock, I feel like it's more connected to blues and somehow to jazz.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's why I feel like I did hear it more.
Was there Israeli music or Israeli musicians that were influencing you at that time
also, there was an insane scene of people that came back from New York, and they were our teachers.
Yes.
They're amazing. That's Amit Golan that I told you about. Amos Sofman, an amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
He's back in the States, but he went back. Avishai Cohen.
Yes, of course.
Ofer Ganor, the best Israeli guitar player in the world. Even Pete Bernstein would call him like the wizard. Yeah. And then so many people. And then like a few years older than me, there was Gilad and Yotam.
Yes.
And like I was obsessed. That was like I was fans of all these people.
Yeah.
And because they were great teachers, like the students became very good. So the scene was happening and there was a lot to learn from people.
I felt when I moved here in 2005, I was shocked by the number of Israeli musicians here. And in the early 80s, there was an exodus out of Cuba of Cuban musicians into New York, and there was a huge Cuban influence on the scene.
Wow.
And I felt like then in the early 2000s, the same happened again with Israelis. And it's interesting, the first gig that I ever played in New York was I got called to play in Central Park for tips playing drums. I schlepped my drums into the middle of Central Park. Some saxophone player that I knew a little bit said, "Do you want to go and do that?" And Tal Ronan was playing with us. And that was like one of the first cats I met. And I saw he played on one of your
played with me so much. We were like musical partners for like the first 7 years I was in New York.
And then I was like, that was one of the first people I sort of met when I came here. And that, from following him and seeing who he was playing with, I was like, man, there's all these Israelis here.
And even now, even more, all the time, like, because it's, you know how it goes. There are many good ones, and then they teach the other ones or they influence, and it becomes really high
And now
level.
you're one of them,
I
influencing the next generation.
Yeah, I'm always surprised when I find that, but I guess I am.
Do you find that when you go back that people are checking you out and aware of you?
Or like even here, because there are many younger musicians here.
So how old were you when you moved to the States?
20, so like a while. I'm 36.
Yeah. And what did you do when you moved here? Did you go to school?
I moved here to go to the new school.
Yeah.
Yes.
And within a year, you had made a record with Roy?
Even less, like, a little less than a year.
He met you at Smalls?
So Roy wasn't the reason it started. I met a musician called Fabio Morgera.
Yes.
You know him?
I saw the video.
Yeah. And he told me what video.
There's a video that's where it says Dida Pelled I, Roy Hargrove, and then when you open the video, it's Fabio there's a text of Fabio saying he met you outside of
Smalls. So we met outside of Smalls.
Yes.
And I don't know why I was intriguing for him, but I was sweet and I told him, hey, I'm playing every Sunday. I was lucky I got a gig right when I moved to New York, every Sunday at like a wine bar in the West Village.
Yeah.
And then I told him, and I just started singing there, by the way.
I was going to ask you.
I was like only a guitar player, but I really wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And I was shy to do it where everyone knows me. So I had to move to America to start sing. Because then I had a gig and I could tell the bass player, hey, I'm Dida, I play guitar and sing. And they wouldn't judge me like, oh, now you're singing. Anyway, so then I did the gig and I told Fabio, I'm playing there every Sunday. You should come hang out, sit in. He came 3 times, played beautifully. And then he asked me like, hey, why won't we make a record? I know someone in Italy who has a record label and I think he'll be down to produce and like pay for it. And, deals that you don't have these days. And we'll take care of everything. You just have to play. And I was like, I never even thought about making a record. I was like totally a jazz musician in mind. I just needed like to sound good on like stomping at the Savoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, I think you should do it now because you're going to go in other directions later and you sound so good playing like straight ahead jazz. Like,
He could see that you're going to go in
Yeah.
other directions later.
yeah, because I was singing and like, I
Yeah.
don't know, he was saying like, do the straight ahead
Yeah.
jazz because you sound so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, do I have to like prepare? What do I do? And he
Yeah.
says like, no, just we'll pick the best songs you're playing here and we'll record next month. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then we were supposed to record with Neil Miner and Joe Strasser.
Yeah. Good band.
Amazing. And because of date stuff, they couldn't do it. So then we were thinking, and I told him Hutch is my favorite drummer,
Yeah.
and he asked him, and he was down. And I asked Tal because we were
Yeah.
playing a lot, Tal
Yeah.
Ronen. And then I went to this. There were 2 times that Roy Hargrove did a jam session at the Jazz Gallery.
Yeah.
Or Jazz Standard.
Yeah, he was at the gallery a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he did like 2 gigs that were Roy's jam session.
Yeah.
And I went up to sing. I was like, okay, and play. I don't know. I was a little like cheesy at the time, or I didn't really think about repertoire a lot, I guess. But I chose to sing "You're Just Too Good to Be True" at the jam session and play it, and it was a vibe. And then I can't listen to it. We also recorded it, but it was a song on the album. Anyway, then I was so excited about Roy, and I think he thought I'm cool or something. And Fabio was there too, and I told him, "Can we ask Roy to be a guest?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Sure, I'll ask him." And Roy said yes. So that's why Roy was a guest, and that's it. I think it was like I didn't care, you know.
I mean, there's so much of this, though. I do want to stop just for a second and say I think it's interesting that you didn't want to start singing in Israel because you were afraid people are going to say, "Oh, what? Now you're a singer?" Because I've talked to other musicians who sing and are afraid to sing because they're afraid of the judgment or the reproachment from other musicians. Why do you think you get a bad? You risk getting a bad reputation?
I don't think it's just singing. I think it's any change when you know some people for a long time. All people.
Yeah.
It's either their judgment or your idea of their judgment. Like they know you a certain way, and it's kind of scary to tell them, "Hey, listen, this is not anymore." It's true about singing. It's true about I don't know. I was discovering that I'm gay, and it was scary to do it at my hometown. But here, no one knew me, so like it was more open.
Were you out when you left?
No.
You came out here.
Yeah, I wasn't also like knowing it strongly and like waiting to say it in another place. I kind of figured out here because you have more option to like see yourself in different ways and like explore. Yeah. And when you have people that know you or you think they have an opinion about you, it's hard. That's why people in like small towns are like a little more narrow-minded or something.
Yes. What I hear is how much your musical and your artistic development aligns with who you are as a person. I see that they're the same.
Yeah.
You know?
I think all people that are like, when we said about being your best, I think being your best as a musician is playing like who you are.
Yes.
And that's like we're trying to do it all the time. Like let go of everything that is in the way of that.
But maybe some people have easier access to that. You know, some people are just playing the guitar. They don't know what that means.
But for me, the interesting ones had to go through a little bit of like that search, and it's continuing.
Yes.
And by the way, what I told you about like needing to change or explore other ways, it happened to me big in New York, not only with what we talked about, singing and like, but also with like genres. I think I was also in the closet about that. So like, you know, in Israel, but also here, there's like the bebop Nazis. And like you learn it and you love the music, but they also teach you that like that's the way to play.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to discover that like I knew that I like other things too, but I didn't feel like I can do it or like that I'm allowed.
Yeah.
To love other stuff, love songs, but in New York, because everything, you have such good music of all the other stuff. I remember walking to the living room, seeing Tony Sher.
Oh, yeah.
Playing guitar. I was like, oh my God. And the whole scene of like Bill Frisell and people playing like folky, bluesy, rock, jazz. I was like, whoa, this is what I want to do.
So just to bring this home, can you say who's on the jazz record that you made last summer?
Say it, but I can't even like, it will take time to release it, sadly.
Yes, I know.
But yeah, it's my dream band. It's with Tony Sher on the bass.
This is why I asked you this, because I know that he's on this.
Yeah, so Tony, which really is my hero for like a few years.
Yeah.
I went every Monday to see him at the living room.
Yes.
And he really changed the way I play guitar.
Yeah.
And then, so Tony plays bass.
Yeah.
He also plays a little guitar, which is
On
nice.
that record, yeah.
And then Kenny Wallison, wow,
Yes.
plays drums.
Yes.
And then Sullivan Fortner plays piano, Rhodes, and organ.
Yes. That is a
Really
gourmet
stuff.
band.
Yes.
That's a gourmet band.
It was really easy to play with them.
Very briefly, I just want to say,
yes,
you have your own show of interviewing musicians.
That's right.
The Dida Show.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you.
You have your choir at Ornithology.
That's right.
I want
You
to
should
go.
join.
I'm afraid to go.
Why?
Because my reading is terrible.
Listen.
Because I don't have experience singing in a choir. I look at the videos every week and I go, I want to go to that.
I think you should definitely come. I'm telling you, I don't know, the magic of like the gathering makes everyone be good. There's like people, you're way above them.
Okay.
And they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like people that are like to sing, but and know how to read music, but don't sing often.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
And there's like amazing musician and everyone is super cool. And we go over the parts before. So it's not like go.
Yeah.
Like we read every part by itself and then we sing it together.
I'm going to come. Saturdays or Sundays?
Saturdays, but once a month.
Okay.
Every first Saturday of the month.
I'm
put you on
come
the
there.
email list.
I'm going to come.
Okay.
You're playing Guitar Summit tomorrow. You
That's
play
right.
Ornithology all the time.
Yes. Every month.
It's so cool.
So many every month things.
So many every month things.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to know you.
I'm so happy to know you. By the way, because of the recording, I know about you because Matt Pearson, the producer, told me, check out Leo's show.
Well, I have to thank Matt for introducing us.
Thank you for having me. It's fun to be interviewed. I haven't for a while.
I know. I'm nervous interviewing you because you interview people. It's just such a funny thing. But
it's so fun.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll do more.
Yes.
Thank you, Dida.
Perfect. Thank you.